What is up, guys? I am Get Flanked, and today I wanted to go over some general tips in Rainbow Six Siege to help out the beginning player. I put out a video yesterday about Rainbow Six Siege, and I got a lot of responses from you guys saying that you just picked this game up, you just started playing it. There's a ton of you guys who are just getting into this game, and that's awesome because I'm enjoying it so much right now, and I'm excited to make some videos for it for you guys. But with that, I know the learning curve is tough in this game, so I wanted to put together some general tips that I've learned throughout my time of playing it. I think I'm level 41 or 42, so I have been playing it a good bit over the last year that it's been out, and I'll give you, the stuff that I've learned along the way to help shorten your learning curve, and hopefully you can take this stuff, put it in the game, and have better games right off the get-go in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, in addition to me sharing the tips that I've learned with you, I would also like to ask anybody who's been playing this game and watching this video to share the tips that they've learned, because there's a lot of people in here who've spent a lot of time playing this game, and I know you guys have some really good tips for the beginning player, so please put those down in the comments. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about actually has to do with the operators in the game, and I feel like there's different levels of operators in this game depending on your skill level and familiarity with the game. And what I mean by that is, for example, I'm using Fuse right now, and you saw in that opening clip I got 2 very easy kills by using his special ability. I feel like Fuse is very noob or beginner friendly. It doesn't take a lot of skill to use his special ability. You don't have to have a lot of map knowledge, whereas Hibana is very useful in this game. If you know the maps, if you know the good places to use her special ability, she's one of the most powerful operators in the game. But for somebody who's not familiar with the game, Hibana isn't going to be that powerful. So gravitate toward those ones that are the operators that are more simple. And for the most part, I would say the operators that have been in the game the longest, the ones that originally came with the game, are probably the more simple operators in the game, in my opinion. The other thing is you have to learn who counters each other. Yes, Fuse is very easy to use, and you're going to see in this gameplay I get 3 or 4 kills with his cluster charge. But your better players are going to render him useless. They're going to run Jaeger, which completely counters him, or they're not going to sit really close to the bombs in the rooms. So you're going to have a hard time, predicting where to use your cluster charge in order to get kills with them. So they did a very good job with the operation in this game to make them balanced, to give the beginners some that are easy to use, but also give some to the experts who are more familiar with the game. So just learn which ones are going to be better for you at your current skill level. Okay, so now I want to talk about when you're on defense. So many players at the start of the round just go to the nearest blank wall and start reinforcing it, and that is not the right way to go about setting up your defense. And I'm going to show you the reason why here in just a second. We're going to go into a custom game, and I'm going to show you a bomb spot right here. And again, here's these walls that most people just run up to. They'll run up here, they'll start reinforcing that, or they'll run back to this wall, start reinforcing that. And the reason that's a bad idea is, look, there's a staircase on the other side of this wall. So I'm going to go over to that wall, and I'm going to set up a kill hole. Where I can just, sit on and camp those stairs and put myself in a really good position to get an easy kill if anybody tries to come those stairs. And that's what this game is all about, setting up defenses like this that are going to catch your enemies off guard. And if you just run around and reinforce random walls without knowing what's on the other side, you're not going to be able to do that. So think about what you're doing when you're setting up your defenses. Okay, another thing as far as defense, do not be afraid to roam around a little bit. Move away from the bombs. Try and put yourself in situations where the enemy's not going to expect you. They fully expect people to be in the rooms with the bombs. They don't expect somebody to be maybe in the room above it, or a couple rooms down the hallway. So think about that when you're setting up your defenses. Keep in mind everything you do in this game makes noise. That's a disadvantage to the roamers, but you can get a lot of easy kills by putting yourself in situations the enemies aren't expecting you to be in by roaming around. Real quick, you guys are going to see me in this round choke a 1v4 clutch. I think I end up getting 3 of the kills, and the 4th person comes up the stairs from behind me and kills me. And it looks like I'm oblivious. I heard them shooting at me, but I thought they were coming from upstairs. I don't know why. I couldn't tell where they were shooting from. It looks really bad in the kill cam, but you'll see that here in just a second. I come really close to pulling this out though. Alright, so back to the tips here. The next thing I want to talk about, you have to burst fire in this game. You cannot just go guns blazing. You have to burst fire. If you've played Battlefield, you know what I'm talking about. You have to burst fire in that game. I'm almost positive there's no auto aim or aim assist in this game, so you really need to learn to burst fire because the guns have real recoil in this game and they don't lock onto your target. So if you just hold the trigger down, you're not going to be able to hit anything. learn to burst fire. Okay, I've given you a couple tips for defense. To talk about offense a little bit, the number one thing I would say on offense, you have to be patient. So many people at the start of the round just run up to the closest window they can find right next to the bomb and bash it open and then try and charge inside and just die instantly. You've got to be patient. You got to work your way in. Try going upstairs and working your way down, or downstairs and working your way up. Try, knocking out 3 or 4 different windows. That way they don't know exactly which one you're coming in. Make sure you're using your drones on offense. You get a drone before the round starts, and then after the round starts, you can use a drone again. If you die by entering a building without using your drone, that's a waste. Use your drone to go inside and scout out what you're getting ready to go in. Okay, the next tip has to do with offense and defense, and you have to learn where the cameras are on each map. Each map has stationary cameras set up that the defensive team can look at, and if you're on offense, you need to learn where those cameras are and shoot them out so that the defensive team can't use them. And if you're on defense, you need to use those to the best of your abilities. In the beginning of the round, you should be looking at these cameras to try and identify what operators the other team's using and what side of the map they may be trying to come in on. Another tip that has to do with the cameras is once you die in this game, you need to be making yourself useful by checking out the cameras, doing whatever you can to help your teammates. Now, if you're looking at the cameras and you can communicate verbally with your teammates, don't spot enemies with the camera. I know it's tempting, everybody does it, but once you do that, the enemy's going to shoot the camera out. They're also going to know that they've been spotted. They get notified. So instead of spotting an enemy, tell your teammates where the enemies are verbally without spotting them. That way the enemy has no idea that they've been spotted and that, your teammates know exactly where they are. Okay, let's talk about a couple weapons and attachments real quick. Don't use laser sight. The enemy players can see the laser sight just as well as you can. So do not use laser sight in this game. Shotguns are very usable. I don't use shotguns in Call of Duty. I don't use them in Battlefield. But in this game, I do use shotguns a lot because they're very good and I've gotten a lot of kills with them. So do not be afraid to try out the shotguns even if you don't use them in other games. Real quick, as far as the gameplay, right now you're seeing a good example of me being patient and what I meant by that. Yes, I'm close to the bomb right now, but I'm not in any hurry to enter this window and get into the room. And right here, you're going to see me get a sick headshot. Yeah, so what I did there is I went upstairs, I dropped my cluster bomb up there. The guy probably heard me walking around. After I dropped that, I came back out the window, dropped down a level, and now I'm just kind of looking in this window to see if anybody else is in there. At this point, I'm finally going to enter. I think it's, a 3v1, so I feel pretty safe at that point. But that's what I mean by being patient. Don't be in a hurry to get into these windows and get into these rooms. Okay, next tip. When you're on offense, approach these buildings very carefully, and you're going to see why here in just a second. Right there, there's a guy who's shooting out the window, and I end up getting him. He doesn't get me. But you need to be aware of that. A lot of people are doing that now, and when you see somebody doing that, if you die to that, remember that window and use it. It is very useful on defense. If you find a good window and you pick the right way where the enemies are spawning, you can get very easy kills that way. So when you're on offense, be careful when you're approaching the building. Don't just run, full steam at the building. There may be somebody who's on defense who broke out a window and is looking to get an easy kill. Okay, another thing on offense is when you're using your drones at the beginning of the round to try and find the bomb or the hostage or whatever, don't just run into the room with the bomb and then just leave it in the middle of the room for them to shoot. Try and put it in a place where it's going to be hidden, but where you're going to be able to see things. Because once you die or when your teammates die, they'll be able to actually take a look at that and spot enemies. So you want to keep as many drones up as you can in very good locations where you can kind of spot the enemies and stuff like that. Just keep that in mind. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about here is what I think separates the beginning players to the better players in the game. And I really feel like this game comes down to angles. And what I mean by that is the ability to put yourself in a position where you have a nice line of sight that overlooks a choke point where the enemy is very likely to come, but doesn't expose yourself to unnecessary risk. And the other aspect of that is you always have to think about where you are and where, anytime you're in a position, you got to be thinking, is there a better position I can be in? So right here, you're going to see, I see an enemy right there and I just lay down on the floor. This is really dumb. This isn't what you should do. I should be looking for a place where I have some cover, where I'm in a head glitch. And here in a second, you're going to see I pay for it. He comes around the corner right there. I'm laying in the middle of the floor. completely exposed. He gets an easy knife on me, and I'm dead. That's what you can't do in this game. You always have to be thinking about where you are strategically. You know, if there's a more tactical place for you to get into a head glitch or something like that, is there a better angle that you can take to protect the room that you're in? You always have to be thinking about stuff like that. And that example right there is, you know, me not doing that. So anyway, guys, that's going to about do it. I hope you guys learned something from this. Hopefully it'll help, you know, lessen your learning curve in this game. I'm hoping that there's some players out there who are going to put some more tips for you guys down in the comments. I know there's a lot of really good Rainbow Six Siege players on this channel, so guys, put them down below. Let's do this, guys. Let's get better at this game together. I'm pumped. I'm having a lot of fun. If you all enjoyed this, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll have more coming your way here soon.